Hey there, Floss Tube. This is Cathy, the hands-on designer, with day 3 of trying to film this, and take number, I don't even know what. I woke up, it's Saturday morning in a, well, happy to me, but I guess probably the way you're reading it is, EPA. So I got my morning juice, and I don't care what happens. I don't care what mistakes I make, how many times I say a word, or the doorbell rings or whatever. We're making this one go. I have a lot to share. I'm kind of editing it back a little bit just because I don't want it to take too long. I've got some previous releases to share, some fun things to acknowledge and talk about on our recent trip overseas. And I have a Finish-a-palooza. I don't know if you remember, a couple videos ago I did a Finish-a-palooza. I had sent a bunch of, from my pile of shame, of finished items or stitched items that hadn't been finished. And I sent them off to Rita from Snowberry Needle Arts, and I shared all the finishes. Well, this time I sent off to another finisher. You're just gonna have to hang on till a little later in the video and see, because everything's just adorable. So I will say I'm coming at you today from, well, the last couple days, from my studio. Someday I will do a studio tour. Right now it is a mess. So zoom in all you want on what's behind me. We're in the process of kitting for the Silver Needle retreat, which I go to here in a couple weeks. And I keep telling myself a couple weeks. It's actually probably closer than that. So kitting 180 kits plus getting trunk shows ready. And then I have a class coming up in, 2 classes coming up in the fall that I am trying to get pre-stitching out for. So busy days in the studio. So that's why so long since my last video. But anyway, so this is kind of I can't do. I would make a horrible weather girl. This is kind of basically where everything gets dumped right now. When I go, I need this for the kit. Where is it? It's somewhere on that countertop. This doorway right here that goes back to another room. That's our inventory and shipping room. Not showing you that either, because we did an automatic shipment this week that it took 3 nights to get out, and whew, that's a disaster. That needs to be cleaned tomorrow. Over here is, sewing area, and then we even have set up some auxiliary. See, I would be horrible at this. No green screen here. We had to set up some auxiliary tables to get everything as I cut and prep everything. So this weekend, I think we're going to actually start stuffing and putting some kits together just to make way for the next one. So anyway, but I wanted to talk a little bit today. First of all, okay. Hey to all the ladies at StitchCon, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, at StitchCon. Back when they first started talking about this, they asked if I, would be interested in coming, and I'm like, yeah, heck yeah, but timing really bad, because this coming next week we leave for Seattle for the National Special Olympics to go cheer on my son, Billy, who you've met in previous videos, and then after that, 3 days after we get home, I leave for the Silver Needle retreat. So more about that later, maybe in another video. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to I know everybody loves when you do this. Put my happy juice down. And first of all, thank you to a lot of the new subscribers. Or followers, or whatever it's called. Somebody must have mentioned me in a video, because I wake up in the morning and then there's like, I have like 10, 12 new people following me. So I'm like, well, somebody out there was talking about me, hopefully all good. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all you following. I appreciate the thumbs up. Oh, heck, I even appreciate the thumbs down. Comments, love comments, and I read all of them, and I try to acknowledge them all. And when I can, I like to go and check out your videos too, so always let me know what your FlossTube channel is. A lot of times when I'm working here and I'm cutting in the studio, prepping kits, I have FlossTube on in the background, so it's just a nice companion. Couple little a wonderful present just arrived yesterday, and I want to acknowledge that. I am going to share that a little bit. Somebody must have seen my love of Shiny Bright, the vintage Shiny Bright ornaments. Glenda she's a Spoonful A spoonful of sugar stitcher. Thank you so much. Your box arrived, and I love everything in it. She emailed me. She was so funny. She emailed me and she goes, "Can I have your address? And just to prove I'm not some like weird stalker axe murderer, here's some pictures of my life." It was so funny. But she sent me, I love this saying. It says, since it's kind of backwards, keep laugh on your to-do list. I love that. That's so cool. And then she sent this cute little, well, this was a note card, but this cute little to-do list, because I talk a lot about my to-do list. So you know what? The word laugh is always going to be number one on my to-do list. So thank you so much. But I'll show you what she sent. She shared that she had gone to, this says the bargain shop, but some vintage Shiny Brights. And I think she said she got a whole bunch for like $1, which heck, if you find vintage Shiny Brights, a whole box like this in this great condition for $1, you buy those puppies. I don't have any like this. These are all, I'll take that lid off. They look like, don't they look like ribbon candy? That's what I was thinking they looked like. And I don't know if she put the pretty ribbons on or they came like that, but oh my gosh, they're just, I don't want to drop any. They're just beautiful. I don't have any like this. I collect all different kinds, but vintage. And so these are going on the tree this year. So I shared pictures of my Shiny Bright tree last year. So thank you. And she also sent this lovely, oh my goodness, candle. It's called Sun-Washed Cotton. It's a nice scent for your new house. And oh, it's got that clean cotton smell. And oh, yeah, I love that. And then she must know I like my my toast and jam in the morning, because she sent me some peach preserves. So thank you so much. I think this is, I really don't get, I see other floss tubes where everybody gets gifts. I don't get that many, and that's not a call. It's not required, but I love that. That's so cool. So she just wrote a really sweet note, and those are products from her area in Alabama. So Glenda, thank you so much. That was really nice. Anyway, I'm going to move this down on the floor, so if a cat jumps up, I don't want, okay, sorry. I don't want vintage Shiny Bright pieces everywhere. So StitchCon, I kind of mentioned that briefly. Sorry, I'm going to be scattered, but we're making this go because I'm not doing this again. And I woke up in the determined we're going to get this going. So the ladies at StitchCon and gentlemen at StitchCon, have a great time. Wish I could be there. Who knows, maybe next summer it'll work out. My trunk show is there, so I had really kind of hoped to share some models with you. And then I realized, yeah, I packed it all off to go to a trunk show at StitchCon. So if you're there, stop by, say hi to the models, make sure they're behaving themselves. I always laugh because my models go so many places, but I don't get to go. But anyway, so what I'd like to do, let's get on to some stitching. I'd like to talk about a couple of the new releases that I did. Let's back up. I should do my little boop, boop, but we're going to back up to May. I had 2 releases. The first one is Knee High by the 4th of July. And again, like I said, I had really kind of hoped that I'd have the model to show. But so if you're at StitchCon, go see the model. But anyway, wanted to talk about that one. I have to thank whoever was stitching it during their mania, and they posted it because this was originally published in Just Cross Stitch in 2015, and they posted the picture, and I started getting lots of emails from shops that, do you have this? Do you still have, can you release this? Da, 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 da. Where can we get this chart? Because our stitchers want it. And so I had to pull out my contract and double check that, because for a while I was doing a lot of magazine work, and they sometimes buy one-time rights or sometimes just buyout rights. And you can get it. Okay, this is the loophole that is a JCS contract, is that they did purchase one-time rights. However, since it's digitally available, the magazine is still available via download. Yes, you can still get the chart that way. So anyway, but the chart is available through shops now, knee high. I want to clarify something I said on a Facebook post or in the Hands-On Stitchers group that I would talk more about this. The green for the corn stalks is listed on the back of the chart as piney woods, on the inside of the chart as forest glade. Both will work, and you're not blending anything. They're both deep greens with kind of yellowish tones and some brown overtones as well. So you'd be fine with either. And I said I would explain a little bit more about that because I know, you know, we stitchers, we make mistakes in charts, and I read the comments all the time. I wish stitchers would, or designers would. And it's like, yeah, we try. It's not like I do it on purpose. When this was originally designed, because actually it was published in 2015, but I designed it actually in 2014. I designed it on a vacation. My husband took me on for my 50th birthday. So yeah, do the math. And then I think the color that I used, the piney woods, was actually a new color. And the software that I use as I'm designing it doesn't automatically update for new colors. We actually have to input them, the number, the name, the RGB values, everything. And there's a little more backstory to it. I got an email while I was on vacation from Christy, Just Cross Stitch. They were in a bind because they forgot to send out the call for designs, and would I be able to do something? And I emailed her back and said, I'm on vacation, will you take a sketch, kind of thing. So one morning, I actually, because I had been wanting to do something with this saying for a long time. I grew up hearing that saying too. My dad grew up on a farm. So I had my sketchbook with me, my trusty sketchbook, and I had done some rough ones, but then this is actually the picture that I ended up shooting a picture of, sending it to her, because typically when I used to like submit designs for them for approval, they would get the fully pixelated colored image just so they could get an idea of what it was going to look like. Well, obviously I didn't have my computer with me or my program, so they got the sketch, and I kind of explained what my thought process was behind the design. And so even though I didn't take the time to write or to put in the value of piney woods, but forest glade was very similar in the palette. So I stuck forest glade in there. It reads that and exports that file as forest glade. I forgot to change to piney woods. So yeah, that's why we ended up with that little debacle. I have safety nets in place now. Of course, remember this was a few years ago. So that doesn't really happen, which actually it worked against me. I'll explain later in the video. But you try your best. So honestly, if you used either one, I pulled my two skeins, piney woods and forest glade. You would be fine in this palette with either one. And they probably actually compare out to the same very similar DMC value. So if you do it in DMC, you'd be okay too. So anyway, so that's my little explanation. Sorry. The other design that came out, and I know this is, you've seen this everywhere and it's not really new anymore, but I never got a chance to talk about this because we were getting ready to go overseas, and we'd come back from teaching and moving and everything. And I did choose to stitch this model. I had actually thought, no, I'm going to give myself a little break and I'm going to let one of my model stitchers stitch this one. And at the last minute, I thought, I got this. I can do this. Yeah. Well, in the process of stitching this section, I made a big boo-boo. I looked for hours. Could I fudge this? Could I make this? It was bad. And finally I said, I can't let that go on the cover. So I had to rip that whole section out. There was no saving it. Put me about 2 days behind, and I knew I was going to be working to beat the band to get this finished and photographed and framed. So Priscilla and I usually talk we talk, during the whole process, but we really talk more about the schedule of the release schedule, like when it's going to go to shops, when information's going to go to shops, when we're going to start sneaking pictures, that kind of thing. I knew they had the contest going for what kind of farm it was going to be. So I said, hey, because hers was done long before mine was, would you actually would you like to go ahead and be the one, because in the past it's always been me, I've made the big announcements, and she's, you know, followed suit with hers. So I said, would you like to be the one to reveal the farm? And she was like, yeah, that would be fun. So that's kind of why we did that this time, and I think that was really cool. We may do it again, who knows. But once again, I finished mine in a similar manner, 11 by 14 frame. With I did a ticking, covered that like a mat board or a foam core with ticking. Now it's not an actual ticking like where it's woven through colors on both sides. This is actually more of a quilting, you know, it's the ticking design is printed on there, so it's a little smoother finish. Finished this on mat board, put a little cording on the edge, bow, the clips, same finish that I did last time with the Fresh Eggs Farm, and then same thing with the small that goes with it. I know a lot of you are finishing yours like Priscilla did. This is always going to stay generally the same size. This may differ a little bit, but it'll still be pretty close. We're going to definitely try, for those of you that did the double frame like Priscilla did, we're going to definitely try and keep it so that you can use that each time. So so Queen Bee Flower Farm. Don't you just love, I love Bessie the cow, and little Ronnie right there, just cute. So anyway, so that was May. Now the end of May, I kind of did something that's been on my bucket list for a while, check that off, and I do a lot of teaching, obviously, and some traveling, but I really wanted to, at some point, teach overseas, teach in a foreign land, or a land foreign to me. And a couple years ago, I started kind of discussing this with, Annemiek, who owns the Handwerk Boutique in Roden, Netherlands, Holland. I'm sorry, voice is going. And it just didn't always get to work out, but this year we're like, it's gonna work. And so we had the opportunity to go over there the end of May, and I taught. We flew through Iceland to Amsterdam, spent a day in Amsterdam, took a train to Groningen, and she picked us up there, and her shop is in Roden. They're probably laughing at me because I could not say it right to save my life. Anyway, so we did a finishing class. They had pre-stitching. This is the little piece that they did. It's a little tray, and it's got their wreath and initials on the bottom, and then just a sweet little pin cushion. Just Another Button Company did a cute little pin mini. With a little pin here, little pin cushion and a spool. And then you've got a little, I'll take those out briefly just so you can kind of see, get a better look. They did pre-stitching. So you might think, well, what's so different about teaching over there? All the files, I mean, because I can't carry a lot of this with me. Normally when I go to a class, I'll bring the finishing kits, the shop will have had the files, I send charts, but with the expense of shipping everything overseas, I had to get everything done well in advance, ship it to Annemiek. She translated everything into Dutch, and then ordered everything, and she was able to pick some of it up while we were at, while she was in the States for market in March. So, I mean, we just, you do basically the same things, but like 3 to 4 months earlier than you would like a class in the States. So the students, we had 38 students in class, and they came from all over Holland. I got to meet an Instagram friend, Aida. I had posted about it, and she messaged me and said, oh my gosh, I'm not that far away. I'd love to come take she has all the block parties that's basically the same finish, and she was a little nervous about finishing them even with my online tutorial. I'd love to come take the class. And I said, well, here's the name of the shop, So she came from the Bordeaux area of France to my class in Holland, and what a sweet lady, Aida Stitches. And it was funny because when I saw her name, I'm like, with a name like Aida Stitches, yeah, I need to meet you. So very sweet lady, enjoyed getting to know her, and I'm so thankful that she made the journey from Bordeaux up to Holland. Let me tell you, the ladies in class, I always go around before, and they're all speaking to each other, and I just kind of peek over their shoulder, and everybody in class had their homework done. They had pre-stitching to do. We concentrate on the finishing the little tray and finishing this in class. I typically leave the backs blank because I figure that's where you can personalize it. Oh my goodness, I forgot to take pictures of some of the backs of their pieces. These ladies were incredible stitchers, just so fun. And the language really wasn't a barrier. That was, my biggest concern, of course. So many Dutch people speak English. So, and then Annemiek, I would stand up front in class and, talk a little bit, and then she would translate everything. Because we had a few that didn't understand. And I guess they kept telling me, I talk too fast. So anyway, what an experience. I can definitely say taught in Europe, taught to a class that, we don't speak the same language, but yet we do speak the same language. We speak the language of stitching. I go a little more in depth. My latest blog post on my website, handsondesign.biz, I had some pictures from class and talk a little bit more about the piece and what I call the universal language of stitching. So it was an experience of a lifetime. So Annemiek and her crew who set the whole thing up and put everything into motion were just wonderful and so welcoming. And happy birthday once again to her mom. Her mom turned a significant number while we were there, and she delayed her day, her big celebration a day, so we could have the workshop on her birthday. So just a lot of fun, and just met some wonderful ladies. So after the class, we boarded another train. My sister-in-law and her family live in Paris, and so we went to visit them. It was the first time in Paris, and they live right, downtown. And I mean, I sat up in bed every morning, looked out the window, and yep, there's the Eiffel Tower right there. I mean, was literally a 5-minute walk. So of course, while we were there, besides seeing, the Mona Lisa and everything else, I had to go check out the needle workshops. So I won't show you all my goodies. I'll save that for another time, excuse me. And I did go to Seishu, Maison Seishu, and I picked up some, neat little, their place is full of just trinkets, little, thread cards and thread winders, all vintagey looking, all very Parisian looking. And I stocked up like crazy. Got a few little books, got a pair of scissors. Yeah, those will never cut paper, let me tell you. And I did, of course, through this whole time, I did correspond a little bit with that social media mystery, Bonjour Lala, and I learned actually while we were over there that she has since basically disappeared from social media. And I think nobody really said, but we were all kind of wondering what the heck this was. Her videos were beautiful. Her watercolors were beautiful. We enjoyed hearing about it. She did a lovely tribute to Pam and Steph for their anniversary, for their floss tube, and she even featured me and several other designers in another video, and said she wanted to grow up to be a designer. I thought, well, go for it. Of course, none of us ever really got it, so to speak, but like I said, I did correspond with her because she was excited that I was going to be in France, and she said she wanted to send me a gift, and so I gave her the address of where we would be staying with my sister. And so, like I said, while I was gone, that's when I saw all the posts that that she was, off social media. So I did get a lovely note, and it was, said sincerely, Lala. I didn't save the box it came in because it was a much bigger box, with the return address, and beautiful handwriting, and she said, bienvenue à Paris. I'm so happy to welcome you to France. And she went on from there, and it was a lovely note, lovely penmanship. Wow, on my best day, I could never even come close to that. So, and then she gave me a beautiful little gift from Maison Seishu, and it was a little, she explained, to hold needles and pins. You put in there, it's just a lovely, it's a beautiful wood box. And so I hope whoever she is or was, that she's, you know, will we ever know? I don't know. So I hope she's safe and, you know, everything's okay. And it was lovely communicating with you. I did try to send a thank you via you know, social media, but again, all the accounts have been shut off, so I guess, you know, we'll never know. But anyway, so so we've been back in the States. We've got you know, more releases coming out. We're getting ready to go. Like I said, Special Olympics, Silver Needle. I'm so excited about that. But let's move on to how do I do on time? 25 minutes. Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I think this is time for Finish-a-palooza. So like I said in the beginning, last time I sent off a bunch of finishing to Snowberry Needle Arts, and I said I was going to kind of make the rounds of some finishers and show off everything. Yes, I'm a finisher. Yes, I do this, but sometimes it's just really nice to get a package in the mail of things that you didn't necessarily do. And quite frankly, I am the cobbler's kid. My finishing comes last. You know, it's usually for work or for somebody else, and you know, and I don't really do finishing for other people. I have some good friends locally that I do for, and they're probably chomping at the bit going, when's she getting to my thing? But anyway, so let's start. Okay, this time I sent to Vonna, the Twisted Stitcher. So hey, Vonna. Vonna and I actually have talked a little bit, you know, instant message, you know, whatever. And finally, one day she was asking me some questions, and we were going back and forth. And finally, I said, "Can I call you? This would be just so much easier if we could just speak." So we did, and yeah, it was funny. Like, we said, okay, we're gonna make it really quick because we know we're both really busy. The thing is, though, is, you know, when you have your own company and you're in this industry, and you know, you meet somebody finally, and you're able to talk to somebody who has similar interests, and you know, you can talk about things, and you know, and you find somebody who understands your level of what it is you're doing. You want to talk forever, but yet we're all so busy. We don't have time. So we said, okay, we're just gonna make this really, you know, really short, really quick. You know, yeah, like 2.5 hours later. So anyway, so I had sent some items off to her, some things that needed to be refreshened up a little bit. They were either shop models or old ornaments. Sometimes I feel like, you know, things get kind of old and a little worn, yet you still love the stitching, you still love the piece, but give it a little boost. So I sent her a few of those, and then I sent her some other items that, you know, were completely unfinished, and I got them back, so I want to share them here with you. I will definitely put names of who they are, or the designer, or whatever, because these are not my designs actually. So for those of you that say, are you always going to talk about hands-on design? Well, number one, yeah, because that's who I am. Number two, here's your opportunity to hear something about somebody else. So I'm gonna let's start off with this. These were, oops, I got them hooked up. These were from Mill Hill. This is a pretty old book. I mean, I probably did these like maybe 15, 16, oh heck, these might even be like 20 years old. I don't know. But I had originally finished them. This was a redo that Vonna did. These were pillows, and they were very bad pillows. And they had these big fancy schmancy ribbons on them, and I would hang them on the tree every year, and the cats would play with them, and they were just looking a little worn. You know, they're full of beads and some specialty stitches, and I still really just liked them. They just needed a, you know, something. And I told Vonna, because I did not leave much fabric around when I finished them as pillows. So the fact that she was able to, you know, they're flat finished, and look, she just put some pretty little fabric on the back, pretty little bow, and just a simple, you know, just now I'm gonna, I can't wait to put my tree up this year and have these ornaments back on. So there's that one. And again, this was a Mill Hill book. Back in the days when Mill Hill was still, it was Mill Hill Gable Sales. It was, you know, because most of you, I would assume, know that Witchell bought out Mill Hill years ago. So this was years ago. Anyway, so Mill Hill, sweet little shaped flat finished ornaments. I just love them. Anyway, so this is another redo. This is from Pine Mountain Designs. It was originally in a tuck pillow. And yeah, I don't always mean to sound so harsh on tuck pillows. They had their time, and they still have their time. They're a great way to finish something when you gotta, and a tuck pillow, for those of you, maybe you don't know what a tuck pillow is. It's a pillow with, fabric around it, but it opens so that once you're finished stitching, you can just basically trim it down and tuck it in. Sorry, I lost a nail. But anyway, and I won't show you on which finger because that wouldn't be nice. But anyway, so she just finished it as a little, I said I've always wanted an ornament. As a tuck pillow, it was a little bit bigger, so I would put it into a basket. Again, just a sweet little finish. Doesn't need to be over the top, but to me this is over the top. And let me tell you, okay, and she knows I'm a gingham girl, and obviously I like my Jabco buttons. The piece was had these on it, but she added that one at the top. And Vonna stuffs. She's a good stuffer. She really is. This is amazing. People who have ever, taken a class from me or gotten finishing from me know I like my stuffing. I like it nice and tight in there, in the pillow. Man, that sounds kind of bad, but anyway, sorry. I probably need more coffee. But anyway, she does a really good job. I've watched her videos. I see she's got that garbage pail full of fiberfill, and trust me, she probably could own stock in the fiberfill company. But anyway, so that's a sweet one. Pine Mountain Designs, Happy Holidays. Another Pine Mountain, another former tuck pillow. This is a larger count. This is one of those designs where you just love it. It probably took me 10 minutes to stitch because it's on that 10 count Heatherfield, and it went into a much larger tuck pillow. So it always sat on a chair, but I knew I wanted something kind of different. So again, sweet fabric on the back. This one was a flat finish, like a door hanger. Little jingle bell on there. So I'll probably hang this on a door or maybe a cabinet or something like that. I just, I still love the piece. It was just a little over the tuck pillow. And now I'm going to get all kinds of like tuck pillow haters or hate mail. Sorry. To each his own. Anyway, I just love the job she did on this one. Also a Pine Mountain design. So, and I'm assuming it was called Believe. All right, we'll finish up the redos here. This was okay. Bent Creek. I just love this one. Originally finished in a box format. I had it as a shop model when I had my shop, and I just love, this was one of those Bent Creek zipper kits, where it includes the large 18 count linen with pearl cotton. The scarf was actually, I believe, a week's Dye Works pearl cotton, because they do that. And I just love the way, if you stitch up and down, how it makes, all the definition in the scarf. I just love those zipper kits. Those were like candy to me. I probably stitched every single one of them because came in a zipper pouch, which you had me right there. But you could stitch them in the car. At that point, we were doing a lot more car travel with the boys, being younger, vacations, whatnot. And I just, the box was nice, but I just wanted something, and she just added that fun fabric, updated it, the little, oh my goodness, what are those called? I can't remember what those are called. Anyway, and again, just, I feel like that Don't Squeeze the Charming commercial. Anyway, so Bent Creek zipper kit. I don't know what it was called. But anyway, so they did a few with Snowman. Okay, last of the redos. Again, this is a Trilogy. Trilogy is the compilation of Heart and Hand, Twisted Threads, and Bent Creek. It was a shop model. I think this was called Winter Spots. And they went, for a long time, they put like little sterling silver ornaments on it. I need to polish mine a little bit, but I had it finished as a box, and I just needed something new. And partly because it was the old way I finished boxes, and it just, didn't, I do them better now. So she did just this, I said, just make it a fun little pillow so I can just tuck it into a basket somewhere. And just, with a little bit of rickrack. She hit all my She hit all my trigger points. Gingham bows, hidden rickrack, nice, oh, again, I just, she does a really good job stuffing pillows. Anyway, so Winter Spots Trilogy. So that's it for the redos. So it is possible if you're not happy with something, unless you've, I don't know. I think there probably are ways that you could, kind of undo maybe something that you did and redo it, because obviously this is proof. So let's move on to the pieces that I finished that I sent her that she finished that were like completely unfinished. And I really didn't give her any direction. I just basically said, do your thing. And she did, let me tell you. So this is La-Di-Da. It says, remember, O Lord, that I am dust. And I'm assuming that's probably the name of it. And again, I didn't necessarily want it framed, but she did an easel, which I loved. It was perfect and pretty fabric. Again, I love all her fabrics. She coordinated very nicely. This one actually right now, what I like about this is as soon as I opened it and I saw it, I was like, oh, I know exactly where this is going. I like to change out my mantle all the time with each season. Right now I have something that's because we're here and gone a lot. I have something that's not necessarily like patriotic or it's more summery. And I'll take a picture, maybe post a picture of my mantle later. But I put this right on the mantle and I loved it. The colors worked out beautifully. It just needed a little bit of height. It just needed to go up a little bit. And so what I did is I got an easel and I just closed it, tucked the little thing up there, and I just set it on the easel like that, and it's flat enough. And again, these are great finishes because you can store them away nice and flat in a drawer somewhere, and they're very versatile, because I might put it someplace else where I don't have to put it on an easel, and I can open it up and let it be its own easel. So again, La-Di-Da. I believe I used the called for threads. I really don't know about the linen. Probably not. I probably either something from Stash or something I picked out. It's kind of like a beigey mocha-y with a little bit of rosy tones to it. I'm guessing 28 count. So if I, just on a drive-by. So anyway, so there's that one. And 2 more to go. So this one is a Theresa Kogut. And this was just a fun piece. Here, let's back up. Can you see that? I'll cover up some of the mess in the background. This is not the called for anything. Theresa Kogut, All Hallows Eve, I believe is the name of the pattern. And she made it this awesome little banner. I love to decorate for fall and Halloween. And I picked this project up. I was teaching in for Country Cupboard a few years ago. The shop was, because it's now since closed, Barb retired, Orland Park, Illinois, and then she was teaching in Sandwich. Well, the class was held in Sandwich, so I taught there. My dad grew up in Sandwich, Illinois, so it was really kind of cool to go back. I stayed extra, visit with cousins, whatnot. But anyway, originally, okay, this is on 18 count over 2 with I believe it's a silk and cotton or silk and wool. I don't know. It was a new thread. I think it was called Jazz, that she had bought at Market. Oh, what was the name of the company? Dinky Dyes. It was their thread. And it was a lot of fun to stitch because you use 1 ply. It's kind of like doing the pearl cotton number 5 on 18 count. This is 18 count, and it had that same weight, so just 1 ply. So it went really fast. And I love that there's a little extra room up here, so I think I like bittersweet berries and just lots of things. So maybe I might just put a little something up there, or not, just leave it like that. And she did the little prairie points at the bottom. Vonna's a new quilter, so she's exploring. She's adding. I like how she's adding that to her finishing as well. So just another beautiful finish. So, and I saved 1 more to go, and this one I literally squealed when I opened it, and that's hard to get me to do, let me tell you. The designer is Dianna Waters, Handmade. I downloaded the pattern. I believe it's an Etsy shop. I found her on Instagram. She was stitching it. I fell in love with this little piece. I'll show you how she finished it first. in this little cloche, and then hold on to it so you can see it in there. It's just adorable. Let me take this off. And it's plastic, so it's not going to break. But look how sweet she finished that. I had no idea what she would do with this. I just thought this, and nice high pile underneath there. And then she added a couple little pins, and she mounted it in this little tin, and then that goes right on top of it. And I had to laugh because I told her, I said, I have been wanting to finish something, to design something, to go into a cloche like this. So much so because I found the factory where you can get these. And I searched it so much it now goes across my news feed, like in Instagram and Facebook, because you know how they do that with the, they know what you've been looking at. So anyway, so I just love it. I think that's so cute. I never would have thought to put him in here, and yet it's just too perfect. I cannot wait to decorate for fall this year and put that out. So, yay, thanks, Vonna. Vonna did a lovely job on everything. Her communication was great. I'm not really meaning to do like a review of her, but she sent me the photos when they were done. And so I knew what was kind of going on, and I know a lot of you have used her and then use her tutorials and whatnot, and she does great tutorials. It was actually kind of fun to talk to her because we actually kind of shared a few secrets. We were talking about the drum finish, because she's finishing a lot of drums, and I have a drum tutorial on my website for my new Around the Holidays series, and she said, well, how do you do this? And I'm like, okay, well, how do you do this? Yeah. So it was kind of fun to actually talk to her and compare some notes and that kind of stuff. So that's what I love about this industry. Just, meeting some just really cool people. But anyway, so thanks, Vonna. I love everything. And that's my Finish-a-palooza. I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap it up here, but I did one note. I will talk about them later, the newest releases. We finished up 2 series. The Last of the White Christmas went out to shops. The last 3, these 3 are all about the deer. We had reindeer games, and we had reindeer games. Oh, North Pole Trading Company. That's what I'm holding in my hand. And then, and Deer Tier. It's like a 3-tier tray. I have always been wanting to do like a design like that showed like the different levels of one of those 3-tiered trays. And when I told Priscilla, because she always posts pictures of her 3-tiered tray, I said, guess what? I've got something coming out on that. So I hope she likes it, because I know she's doing the series. So anyway, but I did want to share something, and I'll talk more about, because there are stories behind why I chose Reindeer Games and North Pole Trading Company and Deer Tier. Well, you kind of now know about the Deer Tier. So remember in the beginning when I was talking about, the whole like working, getting the right color key and making sure you don't have mistakes and whatnot. Okay, well, I've gotten smarter, but then that smarter came back to kind of bite me in the butt. Sorry. But, okay, so one color palette, this is the North Pole Trading Company. That's one of the newest ones. And because these were all the same color palette, I call them the quiet colors. And I still like my quiet colors, and I still love living out here with the quiet colors, even though the wind makes it not so quiet sometimes. I made a master color key for everything, so that if the big dot is white on this chart, it's white on all the charts, or the bamboo, which is what I believe I used. Bamboo, yes. So just to help me from making mistakes from chart to chart. I know it seems like it should be an easy process, and it is. There's only about 52 things that you need to check on a chart before it goes to the printer. And then at least 52 more once you get the proof from the printer. And sometimes, being human, you mess up. So I didn't mess up, but the whole master key sort of backfired. I try really, really hard to get like big full symbols next to light open symbols, just to make it easier to read. Hello, I mean bifocals, and I wear cheaters on top of the bifocals when I stitch. I need to be able to see it. Well, I was good in like every pattern except this one. When it came to this section right here, I'm going to show the pattern really quickly. I'm allowed, it's my copyright. Okay, so that's what happened. Sorry. You have a big filled in circle next to a big filled in square. I'm sorry. I even made an apology on the chart because when I saw that, I thought, ugh, you try so hard and it just doesn't always work. So hopefully you can use the front as a guide. I even rearranged the whole back of the chart to make the chart as big as possible on the page. And so hopefully, okay, I guess my suggestion is going to be stitch, you know, if you can make a working copy and maybe even highlight the circles, stitch the white letters first and then go in and, you know, fill around with the gray. In this case, it's the old money is the color. Yes. And, you know, 9 charts. What are the, I worked really hard over the 9 charts to have not these close symbols together. And then this really just kind of was a monkey wrench. So, and there was, you know, if it's really horrible, we'll figure out some kind of a fix for you, but hopefully, my apologies. Sorry. So not a mistake, just what was she thinking? Anyway, so there you go. My Finish-a-palooza, thanks Vonna. My new projects that I've taught in classes, some releases from May, some future releases. I'll talk about those in a little bit. I just don't want to make this go on. I could talk for hours, but hopefully it won't be so long till my next video. As I said before, we travel to Seattle next week to go to the National Special Olympics. Opening ceremonies will be on ESPN Sunday. So say hi, wave, see if you can see us. We'll actually be sitting with, they have the families sit in, according to state. So we'll be with Iowa, all the Iowa families. And then when we come back onto Silver Needle, I'm so excited about that one. I'm going to try and maybe do a few interviews, a few things that, you know, definitely take lots of pictures. I'm there with Linda Ebright, Lizzie Kate. So she and I have been communicating a lot since we both found out that we would be the teachers this year. And then of course her big news this year of retirement. And so I'm looking forward to actually, you know, spending the time with all the stitchers and the crew at Lindy's. I know they're working very hard to have a special event for everybody. So happy Saturday, happy stitching. Everybody who is at StitchCon, please safe travels home. And I think that's it. In the meantime, enjoy the stitch. Bye-bye.